This conference will now be recorded.
IPv6 is hexadecimal. It's a big one. I'll show you. It's like this one. If you go into CMD, it won't be like IP address. IPCONFIG, IPconfig, it is like this. See.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Anyone has any questions? Where are we? We went for what is meant by. We are at what is meant by routing, what is meant by NAT. So anyone has any questions, please let me know. Today should be a little bit important one. So well, wait a minute, I'll mute everyone. Okay, so today what we are going to do. So today is very, very important class. Very simple. This is our network. This is our network. Then this is our subnets. As I mentioned you can go for a subnet. You can go and create a server number 1. You can go and create server number 2. You can go and create server number 3. How this server number 1, 2, 3, what is that ID they are providing? We are going and providing a CIDR block. What is the size of my network? Based on that one, the system will be assigning the IP addresses. Example 10.0.0.2, example 10.0.0.3. How these three servers gets communicated? You are going to create what is that? Route table, and you say, hey, 10 series, anyone is looking the 10 series, it should not go outside, it should go and see only. So, but the problem is these servers are not having internet. So I'll go and create what is that? NAT. I'll go and create a NAT right now. So what is the role of a NAT? Now this server goes and click on 10 IP address, it will go for it. But here if you click on google.com, amazon.com, facebook.com, that is what I'm going to go like this NAT. And always keep it in your mind. Always keep it in your mind. Lot of people thinks, right? What is meant by a NAT? NAT is mediated between my local system and outside the server. No, someone is outside here. They want to connect to this server number 1. How do they connect? Lot of people think, right? We can jump from here to here and then here to here. This is wrong. NAT is only this direction only this direction. You click on facebook.com, from this facebook.com, then it will go to facebook.com, this direction only, NAT, not bi-directional. Keep it in your mind. Okay, shall we start? Anyone has any questions? I know it is raining today, slightly it is raining, so number of people joining in the class may be little less, but that's fine. Anyone has any questions, please let me know.
I did my homework yesterday, last class D and class E, IP ranges. Just
Okay.
I want to give.
Good,
So
good, sir.
Yeah, it starts with 224.0.0.0 and it will goes to 239.255.
Okay, if that is the case, then tell me why we use it and what is multicast.
The multicast is range is different again. Multicast.
No, why? What is multicast? Okay, go a little bit deeper, sir. Good. Go for understand what is meant by a cast, what is meant by multicast, why they categorized as a research purpose, who is using it, what. Go for deep. Good. Okay, and wait a minute, and your voice is not heard by classroom people. I'll make the settings here as okay. So now let us go. Please write it down. Let's go into picture. Sir, maybe I'm going to ask a question which I already asked you, and I ask you, please remember, I'm going to ask you again and again and again. Why VPC? Why VPC? For no, why VPC? Because it supports. What did I say on the first day?
It will support both public and private network.
And private. It supports both public and private. It was supporting public, then we started supporting private also. So on the basis of that, please write it down. Today is important class. So this is our VPC. Let us take an example. Sir, this is our VPC. And what is our CIDR block, the size of the VPC? You are the owner. You can mention anything, 10.0.0.0 by 69 mentioning it. Now, why VPC? What is the reason? Because it supports public and private. Sir, I want to go and create. What's the name, sir? Khalid. Okay, sorry. Khalid will come up and say, sir, I want to expose one server to the world. And he will also come up and say, sir, I want one database server. That server should not be exposed to the world. Outside people should not connect it directly. So what I will do, please write it down. Very, very important. I will divide my VPC into what I can divide, sir? Good. So I will divide. Sir, if NAT is a single direction, then okay, good question, sir. Single direction, how we are getting a response outside, sir? The response, what it is getting outside. So whenever you are hitting the server, outside it is looking for a response, only that response it will accept, but anyone directly hitting the what is that, any request which is directly hitting the server NAT server, it will not respond. We will talk about these kind of things. Good question, very good question, Raghavendra. In EC2, when we start EC2 instance in the next week, right, you will understand source to destination checkpoint. What is that? We'll talk about that. Okay, I can divide my VPC into what is that, sir? Please write it down. VPC is divided into two subnets. One subnet I call it as public subnet. Another subnet I call it as what is that? Private subnet. Why did I divide it? Sir, public subnet is a place where I'll keep my servers. Outside people should connect it. It is exposed to the world. Private subnet, I don't want anyone to expose to the world. So very, very important, public subnet. Sir, what is meant by public subnet? What is meant by private subnet? Today's one, very, very important. In AWS, there are two subnets, you have it here, public subnet and private subnet. Sir, basically, sir, what is this public subnet, sir? Public subnet is a place where, so keep it in your mind. Can you tell me, whenever I created a server number one, what IP address will be assigned? Whenever I create a server inside my VPC, what IP address will be assigned?
10
10
series.
dot 10
10
series.
IP address. What is 10? Private IP address.
Private.
That's what I ask you many times to write it down properly. Remember these things. Don't go and fall trap into the names. Public subnet means public, private means no. Your VPC is your network. Whenever you're creating any server in your network, first a local IP address will be assigned. I mentioned you this one on Saturday or somewhere else like also. Whenever I created a server number one is part and parcel of what is that? My CIDR. So first my what will I assign? Whenever I create one server, so what IP address will be assigned? Private IP address will be assigned into this server number one. Example is 10.0.0.1. Okay, sir. Super, sir. Very good. Now, what is this subnet? Because the subnet is created in which area? What's the subnet name? What is the what is the subnet name? Public
Yes,
subnet.
sir.
Why did I created a server in public subnet? I want to expose my server to the world. Any person in the world can directly hit this server. For that purpose, we are going and assigning, what is that? Please write it down. We are going to assign one public IP address. So another IP address I'll assign. Don't get confused. Sir, one system can I assign two IP address? Yes. So example, public IP address is 23.1.1.1. It's a public IP address, unique in the world. Unique in the world. So are you able to understand? So write it down the second point. Second point, write it down whatever. Whenever you assigned a public IP address, maybe write it down fully. Whenever you assign a public IP address, whenever you assign one public IP address, by default, write it down, by default, whenever you assign a public IP address in public subnet, by default, internet is present in that server. Very important. In a public subnet, whenever you created any server in a public subnet, by default, internet is present in that server. There is no need for you to come up and specify, sir, private, sir, this is a private VPC error. No internet is there. No. By default, internet is present by default. Can you tell me what is an entry exit point of a network? Entry and exit point of a gateway for anything for internet, right? AWS will have, please write it down. Good. Write it down. For any entry and exit point of a internet, right, in AWS, you have IGW, Internet Gateway. Internet Gateway, anyone wants to go outside internet, anyone wants to come inside the internet, IGW, Internet Gateway. Is it clear? By default, this server is having internet when I assign public IP address. Yes or no? Now I will go and create one route table for this particular subnet, maybe route table 1. Sir, what is this route table 1? Sir, this server number 1 I will go and create. Tomorrow I'll go into create server number 2 here. So day after tomorrow I'm going to create server number 3 here. All the server locally should communicate. So what I will do? Anyone is communicating with the IP address which is 10 series, where it has to go? Locally. Now here in this server, someone will type google.com. Google.com should go inside or outside? Outside. Outside is what here? Outside is what is that? So any other IP address you type it. Please go to any IP address, any subnet. Why? Subnet is part and parcel of the 10 series. It will go local only. Public IP address 23, 22, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the IP address has to go to where? IGW, Internet Gateway. So you will mention this route table like this. Is it clear? And now if this is clear, now tell me, you only tell me, what is private subnet? What is private subnet? Very good. So that's the correct word. Only private IP address. This area is completely private. I don't want anyone outside person wants to directly access this server. I don't want outside. So I will only assign local IP address. Local IP address is not unique in the world. So outside people cannot directly come inside. So what is the first one? The first one is private IP address only. Private IP address only. Private IP address only. Sir, private subnet, private IP address only. So what is this IP address? Example, you will go and mention 10.0.1.2, one private IP address. Now, when you assign private IP address by default, internet is there or no internet? So by default, no internet. Is it clear, guys? By default, no internet. No internet, is it okay? Is it okay? I am okay. No internet, no virus. Very simple. Which is the safest computer in the world? If you want to make it, any person in the world, topmost world in the entire world, should not, basically cannot hack one server. Which server? Very simple. I'll remove this here. Come on, that's it. No one in the world can hack this server. As simple as. No internet, no virus. But people, customer will say, I need internet to download patches. Internet is there, not is that. For internet, I don't have internet. So a private network which is not having internet, to have internet, what should I do? NAT. Okay. Now I will go. So to get internet, what should I do? Third point, to get, what is that? Uh, okay, but outside world directly cannot hit, right? Only you want google.com, you will get it. So outside people directly cannot. Now this server 23.1.1, outside people can directly hit it. But this server, what is IP address? 10 series. Outside people cannot go for it. You can click, you can get internet. You type google.com, facebook.com. Yes. So to get internet, what do you need to do? You are going to create, what is that? NAT. What is the property of a NAT? Tell me yesterday, what is the property of a NAT? NAT should assign with what IP address?
It will support both in private and public IP.
Very good. It should be assigned with more private and public. Can you tell me in this both the subnets where I can create public and private IP address? Public subnet. So you are going to create a NAT here. Is it clear? I am going to create a NAT server. Private IP address will be assigned. On top of this one, I am going to assign public IP address, and I am going to create a route table 2 now. Route to table 2. Sir, what is this route table 2? Array, all the local systems has to communicate to each other. Local series has to go to local, but you go and click on google.com, facebook.com, amazon.com. It has to go to where? NAT. So this is the difference between public subnet and private subnet. Hope you understood what is public subnet and what is private subnet. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Anyone has any questions? Please let me know. Sir, what is a VPC? VPC is a place, it's a network. Sir, why did you create a network? Sir, my business requirement is to expose some servers to the world. www.kumar.com, I want to create one server. www means what? Anyone in the world should access that servers, right? So I want to expose that particular server to the world, and that server should connect to one database I don't want to expose to the world. So what I will do, web server I'll create in public subnet, database server I'll create it in private subnet. Web server, whenever I create it, I'll assign a private IP address, and this server should be exposed to the world, I will assign public IP address. Okay, and I will have an internet gateway. In the route table, I'll clearly come up and specify 10 series has to go to local, any other things has to go to IGW, because these systems, when you assign public IP address, by default this server will get internet. Array sir, there is a database server. Array, database server, sensitive data, don't expose it. Don't expose to the world. So then what do? You create one server here. What do you assign? In private subnet? Only private subnet only. So if you assign only private IP address, by default, no internet. No internet is very good. As an example, sir, but I need internet in this system. Then you will create a NAT and add to the route table. Now this server is sensitive information. This server is having internet, server number 2. But outside people cannot directly hit this server. Yes or no? But people can hit this server. Why? It is assigned with what is that? Public IP address. Public IP address can be hit from anywhere in the world. Public means what? Internet. Anyone who's having internet can directly hit this server. If you don't provide proper security, this server is in danger. But this server isn't safeguard. Why? Because people cannot hit with 10 series outside, it won't route. This is the way you have public subnet and private subnet. Anyone has any questions? Is it clear? Very, very important. One question is guaranteed in this topic. Number of route table we can create. You created two. Yes, sir. Two different subnets I created, public and private. So that is the reason I created two routing tables and attach one routing table. This routing table I will attach to public subnet. This routing table I will attach to private subnet. Then the behavior of routing will change based on these rules. Is it clear? Anyone has any questions?
Yeah,
Is it?
I have a question, sir.
Yes,
I have
sir.
a question here. See, since the NAT will support only one-way communication, right? And then whenever you go the web service call and API calls, right? So
Yeah.
that time we'll use the which network, which IP address we'll use.
No. API call means example. Tell me.
So I need to get the no I have services like, you know, for creating something and like XYZ product and all. So now I given that service to the some party who are the customer
Outside
wants it.
service means which
Uh,
service means people are using your service using internet only, right, sir?
yeah, using internet.
Internet only. So if you are providing a service, you are going to provide example service name is http slash slash okay get cost.api.com slash okay one API sales is equal to 123. You enter it. Yes, is it right? When you enter it, so that is what people are. We need to make sure the API is exposed to the world. So that is in public subnet.
But when they will, okay, whenever they need the IP address, right, to configure it for getting the API
So
call
that
to
is
the
the
out
reason
system.
why that you need to wait for it. They need an IP address, but think about it, sir. I'm not going to provide a customer an IP address, which is very bad, right? I will buy a domain and then attach my domain to my IP address. So it will become www. Are you hitting www.google.com or are you hitting Google IP address, sir? What are you hitting?
Google.com.
Google.com. So what is
Yeah.
Google.com? I will buy a DNS and attach that IP address to the DNS. Then people will hit the name.
Mm.
Got it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. The DNS topic, once our EC2 instance is completed, maybe in next 7 or 8 days, not 7 or 8 days, more than that, you will see a DNS topic. I will not go and provide any IP address to the customers. I will provide a name to them because it is easy to remember, not the IP address. How NAT and server number 2 communicate? Server number 2, so server number 2, see, very simple. Server number 2, you will type, I want to go to 41.1.1.1. So what will happen? What is the route table? Server number 2 route table will go to this one. What is this one? Here. And it will say 41.41. Is it ending with 41 here? No. Any other request has to go to where? NAT. So the request will send it to NAT. What is the NAT route table will say? NAT is added in public subnet. Any request where it will go? IGW, from IDW it will go outside. Is it clear, guys? Ramu. Anyone has any questions? Please ask. Google IP address 173. Okay. నేను ఏం చెప్పాను? పబ్లిక్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అంటే ఏం చెప్పాను? కొన్ని రిజర్వ్డ్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ ఉన్నాయి. ఆ రిజర్వ్డ్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ కాకుండా మిగతా అన్ని పబ్లిక్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8, 10 తర్వాత 100.64 కదా. 10 నుంచి 100.63 వరకు అన్ని పబ్లిక్. 10 అవి కాకుండా మిగతా అన్ని పబ్లిక్. ఓకే, మళ్ళీ క్లాస్ డి, క్లాస్ ఈ, మిగతా అన్ని పబ్లిక్. Okay, so this is the way your public subnet and private subnet is there. Routing, you are creating routing different route table for your subnet, attaching it, then the routing behavior will change based on the subnet. Hope it is clear. Very important. So this is public subnet and private subnet. Sir, why do we went for a VPC? VPC is for what? Public and private. Why are we dividing into public and private? What do you get when you divide like that? Security. We get security. What kind of securities are present in AWS? Normally, what kind of security is there? Right? Write it down. Please write it down. Good question. Even if you don't understand online people, please ask me. Don't need to worry about, sir, can you please once again explain this topic? There is no shy in asking. Please ask until you understand. You don't need to worry. Ramu, Raghavendra, you are asking, right? Please ask me more and more questions. Simply come up and say, sir, you did, I'm confused. Please explain once again. No need to worry about anything. Clear, guys? So what is the security? When you talk about a security in AWS, why are we doing all those kind of nonsense, sir? I am segregating public subnet, private subnet to protect my systems. To protect my system, there are two types of securities. Please write it down. NACL versus you have security group. Security group, I'll explain you 20 minutes. I will explain you 20 to 40 minutes. I'll explain you during EC2. Today also I'll explain you. Write it down. NACL versus security group. What is the full form of NACL? Network Access Control List. Network Access Control List. Network Access Control List. So what is the difference between NACL and security group? Pretty straightforward. I will tell you a very simple example. People can understand very easily what is the meaning of NACL and security group. Pretty easy, sir. Can anyone tell me? Let us take an example. I'm writing a diagram here, sir. It's a very simple, laughable example. Everyone visited. What is that? What is this? Everyone visited in orbit mall or a mall. Who can go inside in orbit mall? Anyone can go inside an orbit mall. So in orbit mall, as when you go try to enter it, right, you have one security here. Who can go inside in orbit mall? But what is
Everyone.
happening on the first check? What they will go and check it out? Security, they will go and check it out. Do you have any weapon? Are you bringing any food items or anything? They have baseline, right? But who was allowed to go inside? Everyone can go inside. You go inside, you go inside, you can roam here, you can roam here, you can go everywhere, you can roam, right? Yes or no? Inside in orbit mall, you have, what is that? Movie theater is there. Who is allowed to go inside movie theater? Everyone
Who
or
have a
only who
ticket?
is having the ticket? So you
Who
have
having the ticket?
another security guard here. This is not for anyone. Only the people who are having, what is that? Ticket can go inside, right? This is called as NACL and security group. Hope you understood. Sir, you have an in-orbit mall. Front of an in-orbit mall, you have a security guard. What is the role of a security guard? You to go baseline check, test, check. Any weapon is there? Nothing is there? Please go. Anyone can go. Who is allowed to go inside? Anyone can go inside. Then inside your in-orbit mall, you have a movie theater. Inside movie theater, another security guard is there. What is the role of that security guard? He will go and check it out. If you don't have any ticket, get lost. You are not allowed. This is called as initial. This is called as security group. Let me write it down in a neat fashion. Sir, sir, how do I understand do both? Now, like an in-orbit mall, you have some nothing but you have one. What is that? Subnet. For every subnet, there is one security in front of this one. Okay, every subnet there is one security. Please write it down. This is called as NACL. Security for your subnet layer is NACL. Security for your subnet level is NACL. Is it clear? Security for your subnet level is NACL, Network Access Control List. Sir, what is this security? It will go and protect your basically, but by default, write it down. By default, what is that? What is that? By default, in NACL, the rule is like this one. What is the meaning of this 0.0.0 by 0 means what? Huh? Anyone.
Global,
It by
global IP.
default rule is what is that? What is that? By default, NACL by default will come up and say anyone is allowed, man. This guy is allowed, that guy is allowed, anyone in the world is coming into picture. But let's take an example. Again, your name, sir, Ali, right? What is your name? Khalid will come into picture. Khalid is coming from North Korea. Now tell me, there is a website, my own website is there, and anyone entering my network is from North Korea. Is it something suspicious? Okay, now I'll come up and say, Arey man, the request is coming from North Korea. Something is dangerous. Then you can block it. By default, what is the rule? Allow? Not allow everyone in the world. But I find it out. Let's take an example. In orbit mall, by default rule is everyone allowed. But I'll take an AK-47. Will they allow me? They will catch me, they will take a photo, they will submit to the police, and they will keep me in blacklist. They'll not allow me next time when I go into picture. The same thing you can do it. NACL is by default is good person. Anyone is allowed, right? But if I find it out, array, something is entering into my network which is suspicious, then I can go and provide, not only allow, I can make it deny. Is it clear, right? Let us take an example. Khalid is coming from 23, his ISP IP address. Khalid is present from Hyderabad. His laptop is here. It is going through one, what is that? ISP. What is ISP IP address? 23.1.1.1. It is going, he wants to connect to one server. It went into it's try to go here. NACL will stop. Hey, who are you? I am Khalid. I'm coming from 23.1.1.1. What is the rule by default rule? Allow anyone. It will say, please go. Khalid is trying to go, and there is one server here. This is one server here. This is a server. Example in this server is google.com server. Let's take an example. In this one, this server is 47.1.1.1, and there is one. What did you install here? One application I installed. Khalid want to access this application. What is this one, sir? This is, what is this? It is a server. Yes, it's a movie theater. In front of a server, you have another thing. Please write it down. Security group. In front of, inside your subnet, you will have multiple servers. In that multiple server, each and every server will be protected with, what is that? Security group. Security group. So what is security group? Write it down. Security group is protection layer for your server level. Security group is a protection layer for your server level. Is it clear, guys? Security group is protection layer for your server level in the server. And second point, write it down. By default, will not allow anyone. It is ulta of NACL. By default, will not allow anyone to come. By default. By default is not allowed to go anyone. By default. Okay. Third point. Important. Security group is stateful. Stateful. Security group is stateful. Now, what is this stateful? We'll talk about. And NACL is stateless. Is it clear? Now, what is the, so now Khalid is going and clicking 23.1.2 and he is trying to hit, what is that, 47.1.1.1. So the request will go here. Is it allowed or not? No. So, but I want Khalid to get allowed. So what you can do in security group by default, what is that by default rule? Not allow. But you will come up and specify anyone is coming from 23.1.1.1 with port number 80. What do? You mention this rule. So apart from 23, no one in the world is allowed. That is what security group is. NACL is everyone are allowed. Are I find North Korean one person is coming, I'll deny it. Here, everything is not allowed. Only what are present in the list, those people are allowed. Is it clear, right? It is stateless or stateful? Stateful. What is stateful? Very simple, sir. So what is meant by stateful? Very, very important. What is meant by stateless? Everyone are coming into my class. My room is there. You want to enter into the class. What you need to show? ID card. So let's take an example. You show the ID card. They'll say, please go inside. They are present. You are present here. I am teaching you basically. Khalid will take my keys and he'll go away. I don't know. Khalid has taken my keys and he is gone away. After 2 hours, I saw this one. Where is my keys? Keys is not there. Now tell me, where is the list? Who are the people who come inside my classroom? Is there any list maintained? No. Only people are saying what is that card and asking it. Is there any list? No. That is called as stateless. I don't care who is coming. I will not maintain who is coming, who is going. Anyone comes, I don't maintain any state. What is stateful? Stateful is like this one. When you come into the class, people will ask you, show me the card. You show me the card, and they will ask you a register. Please write it down. What is your name, phone number, and when are you coming in? Sign. Is that when you're going out, they'll come up and say, you're going out. Please write it down out time. Now my keys is gone. Can I refer back who came, what? Yes or no? That is stateful. Actually, security group is stateful. Whoever is hitting the security group, it will maintain who is coming, what, where, and all these things are maintained. So NACL security group, both the people are, what is that one? One is security for your subnet level, another is security for your server level. Is it clear, guys? Anyone has any questions? Please ask the questions if you have anything. You can mention anything. Let us take an example. This server is google.com. Let us take an example. This particular application is google.com. Google.com should be accessed by whom? Then you can mention 0.0.0.0. But this application only works with port number. What is that? Anyone is coming with port number 80, then what do? You mention like this. Is it clear, right? Let us take an example. In this server, another application is there with port number 8080, and this application should be only accessed by Infosys company. Infosys company is here. Lot of servers are there. Infosys gateway is, let us take an example, 140. What do you mention? Then you mention anyone is coming with 140.0.0.0/32 with coming with 8080. Then what do? Only these people are allowed to come with 8080. You mention it, only those things are allowed, not any other things are allowed. Security group protects your systems by coming with security group rules. NACL will allow you whether you have to come inside the network, yes or no. NACL versus security group. Anyone has any question? Security group, you will have 30 minutes class separately once EC2 instance is about to start. Anyone has any questions? Security group allow or deny IP address. By default, it is denying anything, sir. Whatever you provide allow, only those things are allowed. By default, it is denying anything. Security group also will maintain a, yes sir, security also group also has some, not routing table, we call it as one table. Security group is like a checkpoint. Anyone is coming, they'll say, who are you? Hey, I'm coming from 23. It will go and check it out. 23 is there or not there? I will not allow you. Is it clear, right? It has its own table to maintain who are allowed. I would come up and say that is called as inbound rules. We'll go and talk about when we talk about security group, ingress or inbound rules. Incoming request, who are allowed to come inside, all these things you can go and create it. Is it clear? Is it clear? If this is subnet level protection layer, what is there? NACL. Server level protection, what is there? Security group. Keep it in your mind, very, very important. Thank you very much. We are completed VPC. Last topic of VPC is there, not important, but let's go for it. Let's go for it. Please write it down. Sir, what is this one? Please write it down. You have a concept called as, and you will get a better idea when I explain about Route 53. You have a concept called as public IP address and elastic IP address. Please write it down. You have a concept in AWS called as elastic IP address. Don't get confused. It's pretty simple. And in Azure, we call it as static IP address. Same, nothing simple. Public IP address versus elastic IP address. Don't get confused. What is public IP address? You know what is public IP address? Yes or no? Public IP address. What is elastic IP address? Elastic IP address is nothing but, what is that? It's a public IP address. Then why do you have a different name? We'll know absolutely correctly when we go technically. Right now I don't want to go technically, but what is public IP address? You know what is public IP address. Elastic IP address is what? It's a public IP address. Public IP address is free of cost, not 1 rupee you will pay it. Elastic IP address is free of cost, but conditions apply. There are certain, why it is free, we will talk about. It is free, but with under some conditions. Okay, very important. It is a dynamic IP. It is a static IP. That's the main difference. That's it. What is the meaning of this one? Okay, when a server, AWS server, shutdown, when you do a shutdown, stop, and again when you start the server, IP, okay, changes. The IP address changes. Here it is, what is that? Fixed. Why it is? It's a static IP address. Example, you need a public IP address. You ask AWS. AWS will provide you 23.1.1.1 public IP address, free. You used it, then you realized, array, I have to shut down my server. You shut down the server. Again in the morning you start, right? That server is IP address is what? 23.1.1.1. That IP address will be changing to 39.7.183.10. It will dynamically change. Is it clear? That is called as public IP, a dynamic IP address. Whenever you stop the server and whenever you start the server, IP gets changed. Here it is a static IP address. It's a fixed IP address. Where, why do you use it, what and everything, we'll talk about in the later class of. I am done with VPC. Today VPC is done, sir. Actually, there is no need for me to wait for tomorrow. But let us go and create VPC tomorrow. But what are the things we learned? What are the things which we have learned? Let us go for it. We have good time, and 15 minutes. Let's see. Let us go and create a VPC today, but we will go through and walk through. Sir, seriously, VPC is done? Yes. But some of the things which are not done, let's go for it. If you see, let's log into AWS account, sir, first. Most of the people have created AWS account. Create your AWS account and keep it ready. Sometimes it will take some time. Please write it down. Okay, there is no need for you to create any VPC. There is no need to create it. By default, one VPC is present. When you log in, right? Every region, Mumbai, North Virginia, Hyderabad, you will see one. What is there? One VPC is there. Arey sir, who created VPC? Don't come up and say my AWS account is hacked. Someone is already having a created VPC. It is by default present. Let me show you. Okay, when you go into the VPC, right, you try to go and click on a VPC, or you can search it from here also. VPC, select your region and write it down. Please write it down. Please write it down. I think I already asked you to write it down, but important one. A VPC is region based. Write it down and make it star mark. VPC is region based. That means when I create a VPC, VPC resides, my VPC gets created in one region, not all over the world. It is a region based. So I'll select a region, North Virginia, and I select VPC. I created multiple times VPC, sir. If you see, right, multiple VPCs are there created. Oh, what is this one, sir? Multiple VPCs, 5 VPCs are there. But you go back to, I'll go and go back to, where is that? Hyderabad. See, 1,000 VPCs you created. You are the owner. See here, what is this one? One by default VPC is there. Who created this one? AWS has created for you. Sir, how do you know this is by default? What is this? Default VPC? Yes, this is by default VPC. AWS will create in any region, every region. Already VPC is created, but you want to go and create a VPC, you can create your own VPC. So what are the topics which are completed? Do you know what is the meaning of the first one? What is the meaning of the first one? VPC, virtual VPC. You can create it. What is this one? Second one? Subnets. How many types of subnets you have? Public subnet and private subnet, you have it. Third one also you have it when you go and intercept with VPN. That's different. You don't want right now. What is this one? Third one, route table. Route table means how the routing table will go, move and there, here and there. Yes or no? Now, what are these two things? Internet gateway. Internet gateway. First one, internet gateway is entry and exit point for internet. What is the second one? Second one, please write it down. Please write it down. Ingress only internet gateway. Write it down. Ingress only internet gateway is for IPv6. Ingress, incoming. Incoming or ingress only internet gateway is for IPv6. There is IPv4 and IPv6. But IPv4 IGW, IPv6 ingress only internet gateway, IPv6. What is this one? What is this one? DHCP. You heard about DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. What is the role of DHCP? Nah? To assign an IP address. So whenever you create any server, 10 servers you created, Amazon will automatically assign 10 local IP address public. All these things it will taken care by whom? DHCP. What is this one? What is elastic IP address? It's a public IP address, static public IP address. Is it clear? What is this one? NAT gateway. NAT gateway, NAT. NAT. What is this one? Security. What are the two types of security you have? NACL and security group. Hope it is clear for you. Anyone has any questions before I start? We'll talk about that. We will not talk about right now. Endpoints, you need to understand what is S3 endpoint. Then we will talk about what is VPC endpoint. Anyone has any questions? Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? If it is clear, we'll create it. Nothing you need to go. Create a VPC, click one button, VPC gets created in 1 second. I'm done. Yes, sir. VPC peering. VPC peering. That's the reason here it is there, sir. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. Before that, let's go for it. One more thing. Use your mind and answer the first one. Very basic old questions only. I'll go for it. It will just to change your mindset. That's it. What is the first one answer? AWS certification question. Read it properly. Use your pen, paper, go for it and tell me what is the answer. And you don't require VPC knowledge only for this one. Basics of networking knowledge, you can crack the answer. Use your mind and answer it. I don't want, can anyone tell me? Don't go and provide me any correct answer. Give me wrong answers.
A. First question is A. A.
So if you go back and see, which route must be added in your route table in order to allow connection to, okay, to the internet from your subnet is very clever questions. Okay, very clever question. The question is very simple, sir. He did not mention whether it is a public subnet or private subnet. What did he mention? Your subnet. It can be anything. Okay. B. Basics of learn. Use your basics. There is nothing in the world called as. There is nothing in the world called as 257. IP address starts with 02. Then how did is that? That's the basics. B is wrong. Yes or no? Yes. C is wrong. Yes or no? Is there anything? 33. What is an IP address? The last. 32 is the last one. How did you think 33? There is no need to read the question only. First one. I know the answer B and C are wrong. And what is the question says? What route must be added in your route table in order to allow internet into your subnet? How did you assume? Did he mention here what is the CIDR value? How did you assume yourself your IP address starts with 10? Private IP address can start with 10, 192, 168, 172.16, 17, 18, 19. Anything can be added, right? How did he assume the IP address is 10? So answer, what is the wrong answer? B, C, E is the wrong answer, and I don't need to learn anything about VPC. Very straightforward. What is the answer? Answer can be A, answer can be D. So think about it. In public subnet, in private subnet. If you want internet, what do you need to do in a route table? In public subnet, in private subnet, what should you change to get internet? Check it out, route tables of public and private subnet. To get internet, what should I need? Huh?
NAC.
NACL. NACL for what subnet? NACL for what? I'm going to kill you if you say NACL, sir. If you want internet, what you need to do in public subnet? What you need to do in private subnet? Yeah, correct. Correct. Answer it.
In private NAT and in public IGW.
Yes. So if you see in private subnet is not having any internet. So what I'm doing, I'm creating NAT, and that NAT I'm adding in route table. That is what is asking a question. But he did not mention this is public subnet or private subnet. If it is private subnet, then you are adding in a route table. What is that? If it is a public subnet, you are adding what is that? IGW. Tell me what is the answer? A is the answer. Use your mind. A is an answer. A is an answer. 0.0.0.0 slash. You are going to click on IGW. That means he mentioned here. What is that? Public subnet. What happens if it is private subnet? What is the answer? There is no answer here. What if it is private subnet? What is your answer? Private subnets, it needs internet. So what do you need to do in a route table? NAT. So you need to look for an answer NAT. Is there anything NAT? So if they've clearly mentioned that they rubbed off and clearly mentioned NAT, private subnet, then you need to look for any NAT is there. Is there anything NAT there mentioned anywhere? So that is public subnet. Keep it in your mind. Simple, clear, important. Is it clear? So if this is clear, sir, CIDR can be two. What is that? What is this question? Sir, one CIDR block, can I create two private subnets? One public subnet? So if you are confused with this one, Raghava, in one CIDR block, you can create two private subnets and one public subnet. CIDR block is nothing but your college. Subnet is nothing but your classroom. Can I create in my college 10 classrooms? Yes or no? You are the owner. You can create 10, you can create 20, you can create 100, you can create 1000. All depends is your classroom size room. Here also you are creating one network. CIDR block is what? 10.0.0.0 by 16. 16 means what? 65,000 servers will fit. What is one subnet size? If one subnet size is 1, you can create 65,000 subnets. If one subnet size is 100, you can go and create how many? 600 and some subnets, like that. Is it clear? It's all up to sim. It's like this one, sir. Where is that? It's like this one. This is my big subnet. This is my CIDR 10.0.0.0 by 16. That means 16 means what? 65,536 servers will fit in this subnet, in this server, in this network. I'll create one small subnet. How many servers I'll go and mention 10.0.0.0 by 28. 28 means what? 32 minus 28. How much? 4. 2 to the power of 4? 16. Here 16 servers will fit. But total network, how many servers will fit? You want to create another one? You want to create another one? What is the size? You are the owner of these subnets. Is it clear, Raghvendra? Okay, that's fine. So let's go to the another one. I don't think so you can answer it. Try your best. Maybe no, you may not understand when I 10th one, but I would like to go for very simple one. I would like to go for it. Go for the 15th one, and we will close for today. 15th one. Now it is very clearly saying what is that? Simple answer. Use your mind and answer it.
A VPC public subnet is one that has at least one routing in its associated routing table that uses Internet Gateway.
Three.
What is the answer, sir?
3.
Okay, let's go for it. It's very clearly asking is about, he wants to know something about public subnet. Public subnet, basically, if it is a public subnet, why B is the correct answer, right? B is absolutely wrong answer. B is for private subnet. Private subnet need internet, then you go for B. What is the answer here? Very straightforward. Answer is A, sir. Very simple, sir. Why C? So has an NACL permitting outbound to this one. This is also correct as an example. See, this is correct. C is correct. A is absolutely correct. Public subnet means one route table will be associated to what is that? IGW. And every subnet, public subnet will have what is that? NACL. So answer A is correct, C is correct. But you need to select only one. Then what do you do? Inky, pinky, ponky, no. We are not going to go for that one. So which one is the one? If this is private subnet, every subnet, it may be private, it may be public. What is there? NACL will be there. For exclusively, what is that? Public subnet. What is there? Answer is A. Is it clear, online people? Answer is A.
Yes.
Very simple. Public
Sir,
subnet
why not
routing
B,
will
sir?
be attached to IGW. Okay. For every subnet, NACL outbound permitting to everyone, that is there. But that is for private subnet also, that is correct. C. Exclusively, what is public subnet? Answer is A. What if I remove this one and make it private subnet, what is the answer? B. Come on, I'm going to beat you. B, sir. Is it clear? B includes the route associated with what is that? NAT. Private subnet means what? NAT. Is it clear? Hope you understood what is meant by a VPC. Don't get confused. Study well as an example. Right? Tomorrow, give me time. Tomorrow is a VPC creation time. I'll go and create a
Sir,
VPC. Yes, sir.
sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, will you provide any document notes?
Sir, everything I'll
Clearly,
provide you, sir. Wait for it, sir. This is not the time for documentation. Okay?
no, sir, no, sir.
Tomorrow, it's all up to you.
We need to
Tomorrow
use,
I'll
sir.
give you the link. Tomorrow I'll go and you will learn. Don't worry, sir.
Okay,
I'm very
Sir.
transparent. Okay, so I'll provide everything for you. Don't need to worry. So if I give it right,
Okay,
so what will happen? You'll start studying the books and everything, right? Which is not required.
Okay,
I
sir.
don't require you to study the books right now. I will give you the link
Okay.
tomorrow. It is one click I can give you just now. Just 1 minute I'll go you. I don't want to give it right now. Your focus will
Okay.
be completely moving towards that. So
Okay, sir.
just concentrate on networking topic. I would recommend you go today. I don't know what you have done on Saturday. Go and read about top networking 20 networking commands. What is ping? What is IP config? What is netstat? What is meant by basic telnet? Like there are 20 networking commands. Study about that one. Have you studied about the Bible? No. Everyone should start reading the Bible. Okay, what is our Bible? If you don't read the Bible, don't come to the class. Bible is OSI model. Anyone in the world who's touching the computer keyboard, if you don't know what is OSI model, don't touch the keyboard. So this is a mandatory subject. Please, 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 please study. This is your life. Your first round of any top 5 companies in the world. Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Tesla, Goldman Sachs. You talk about it. The first thing they will ask you, there are 7 layers in the world. Basically, when you are communicating from one system to another system, the request is going from layer number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it is displaying. What are those 7? This is every IT person Bible. If you don't know this one, what is this one? I would come up and say, I will not rate you as an engineer. Unfortunately, in engineering student subjects, idiotic basically people, they are not including this OSI model. I don't know how many. This is the first third sem only you should be having. If you don't know this one, they should not continue. If you don't pass this exam, people should not do any other exam. If you ask me, if anyone is asking me to go and create an engineering college syllabus, I'll create like this, which I did it for IIT Mandi. IIT Mandi is all about my subjects. I provided what is third sem, what is seventh sem, what is sixth sem. Very, 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 very important. Go and read about, at least invest 1 hour of time today for OSI model. Is it clear? Let us go for tomorrow and try to create our own VPC tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow is practical class. Huh? What lab? Tomorrow we'll start, right? Practically. Tomorrow onwards it will start. You can sit here or anything. First learn what theoretically what is, then we'll do practically, right? Tomorrow is a practical class. You want to bring your laptop, you have that what is that, when we Kelly don't provide internet, but you have that dongle or anything, or like hotspot, bring it, no problem. Okay, okay guys, thank you, bye.